I read an Amish romance novel. A couple of months ago, when I was at Books A Million, I saw this book. And because of who I am and the shit that you guys make me read, I kind of just figure that everything is smut at this point. So I was like, okay, cool, Amish smut. This ought to be good. So I read Amazing Grace, and newsflash, not smut. The furthest thing from smut. It was so nice and wholesome that I don't even feel good making fun of it, but I'm still going to. In an unnamed location, in an unnamed sect of Amishness, David Esch goes about his life as a brick mason in his father's company, which he is poised to take over someday. But David is afflicted with the sadness. A while back, he was involved in a tragic accident that resulted in the death of a young boy. It was not Dave's fault, and he did everything that he could to save the boy, but that does not matter to him. Dave cannot forgive himself, and he does not believe that God can forgive him either, so he is working on a plan to leave his Amish community. But what Dave does not plan on is the unbreakable spirit of his friend Alice, who will do anything necessary to bring Dave out of the darkness and back into God's light. That's all the plot summary you get. I'm not really sure that it is. It's incredibly sincere, that's for sure. It didn't feel evangelical in any way, really, but I could tell that it was very serious about the fact that God loves me and will always forgive me. I am not a member of the Christian faith. I do not disparage those who are. And I thought the overtly sincere religiousness of it all would be off-putting to me, but it wasn't really once I got into it. I thought that was kind of funny. It's not a humorous book at all. It's very serious. So if there were any jokes, I definitely missed them. There was one thing that happened that made me kind of chuckle, and because a lot of Amish communities speak a dialect of German called Pennsylvania Dutch, the author would sprinkle some of these words into the sentences very casually when the characters were talking. One of the things Alice does to attempt to engage with Dave and cheer him up is she brings him baked desserts. She brings him several cakes, and she refers to them as Kuchen. Definitely saying that wrong. Oh, Dave, I was thinking of you this morning, so I baked you this carrot kuchen. Thank you, Alice. That was very kind. This is a scrumptious kuchen. Or they would say things like, but Dave is mein Freunde. I can't leave him in the darkness. And this was maybe the only funny thing about the book because it tended to break up some of the stiffness of the dialogue. The writing in this book is actually pretty solid. It's not exemplary in any way. It's pretty stiff most of the time, but it's a good, if basic plot, and the dialogue is pretty good. It's just so entrenched in being a Christian parable that it's hard to see it beyond anything other than God loves you in big text through the whole thing, which is fine. As I mentioned, it is absolutely not horny at all. There is one moment of physical intimacy and it was incredibly PG. There is quite a bit of making eyes at each other, but they don't get off on seeing each other's ankles or anything. I didn't hate this. I didn't love it. Probably not going to read any more of it unless I am devastatingly bored. 3 out of 5 hammers. For the record, that is the same score I gave Fourth Wing.